So I love all these like little power suits that we did for summer. I'm really happy about all this stuff. I love this print because it reminds me of the tablecloths that are on my grandma's tables that I've had a million meals on my whole life. I am obsessed with this group. This is from a vintage dress that my mom had that I used to wear all the time, but we finally did it in like my favorite print. Feels very vintage. This group I love because it's so chic and casual, but also you could throw this on no matter how you feel and look like you're put together. I feel like this is something I'm gonna have forever. I love this group. And then this beautiful, really chill, like wrap dress comes in this color too. I like a dress that kind of like anyone can wear and you can make it like adjustable. My earliest memory of being like attracted to fashion came from my mother, who always sewed her own clothes, all my Halloween costumes, my christening, my baptism. She like knitted everything, she crocheted things, she sewed things. So there was always this access and desire for clothes to be aesthetically pleasing. I got started in fashion because I went to Parsons School of Design. I was a design and management major there, so I did everything from design to product development, marketing, kind of everything. I remember one of the first things I designed in high school was like a black dress that like had a bunch of like ruffles. It was like off shoulder and had a bunch of ruffles everywhere. I kind of like pieced it together with tape and a couple stitches. The most valuable thing I learned in college was that I didn't need to graduate from college. I learned that building up a portfolio and working hard to have like real training and like real jobs was more valuable than having a degree. The first like big deal thing that I designed for Reformation was that I was like the most proud of. Well, there's two. Was like a sweatshirt that said Cindy Crawford on it, and then Cindy Crawford wore it. Or no, Kaya Gerber wore it. And then I made another sweatshirt that said Bill Murray on it. And like Taylor Swift and a bunch of her friends all wore them on a vacation. I thought that was really cool. I have no clue how to describe that. Like seeing someone wearing LPA like in real life to me is still a mind blowing. I went up to someone the other day at Cafe Style and I was like, oh my god, I love your jumper. Is it LPA? And she was like, I don't know, I got it at a thrift store. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, I made it. I was like, I made that. She's like, cool. And like went back to eating. I like annoyed her. But I was so excited that she even not found it anywhere and like cared enough to like spend her money on something that I had made. It was like mind blowing. I was at Reformation for 4 years. I honestly can't remember. I could do the math, but whatever. I was there for years and then got a job at Zara and was about to move to Spain to work for Zara, and then Raisa from Revolve came to me and said, please don't move. We'd love to have you design a private label for us. And that's how LPA started. I spent about a month just compiling all the inspiration that I'd ever had. It's stuff that we still use all the time to make sure that we like get back to like who we are as a brand. But also like I evolve and I change. Like when I first started, I was making like sweatshirts that had like flames on them, and now I'm like, okay, I'm married and getting older, and I don't know if it's like super cool for me to show flames on sweatpants. But I definitely always compile a bunch of inspiration and kind of like find the common denominators. I feel like the LPA girl is like a pretty normal girl. She's super confident, she wants to feel good, she wants to be able to like whip around from morning to night and not have to change her clothes. I always say there's like a, you know, I grew up like as a kid like skateboarding with a bunch of brothers, so there's definitely like a laid back California vibe to the whole thing, but then I'm obsessed with Studio 54 and like, you know, Diane von Furstenberg in the 70s. So it's like a smash up of those two things. I think people think that having a brand is really easy, and it can be if you just kind of like buy things and send them off and don't think about it. But we spend a significant amount of time touching fabrics, pulling on them. If we sew them together, they're gonna have seam slippage. What's the quality of the fabric? Did the fabric come in fucked up? How does it fit? Like, what does the fabric do when it's laying on your butt or on your boobs? And how does it feel in the armpit when it gets hot? We have to like come up with endless solutions to making sure that things can fit most people, which is really hard because some people are like very petite and they need things that are short, and then some people are really tall, and some girls have big boobs and some girls have really small boobs. There's a million things to consider, a million. And then on top of that, having to like make sure that I'm, you know, creating content that people find beautiful and interesting and that it's constant and all day long is the biggest challenge. Really challenging. I would say, honestly, the best advice I could give for somebody who wants to start out doing their own thing is to be very nice to everyone, because you're gonna need to ask people for favors or to pull strings for you, and they will only do it if you're not an asshole. Well, I think the first and foremost thing, this is something I actually learned in college, it was really important. You can, if someone has big grandiose ideas, you can harness them and make them think smaller, but you can't have someone who thinks really small think bigger. So we try to find people who are extremely creative. Our team is extremely creative. And then it takes a long time for them to kind of get to really like get, you know, the girl in mind. So it took about like a year for both of I have two boys who design with me, for them to kind of be like, oh, I get it. And now they just show me things and we design like all equally together, where before I was really specific, being like, this needs to look like this and this needs to look like that. It's very much, you know, it takes time. You're not gonna find someone that's all of a sudden gonna come onto your team and like, and everybody thinks that. They're like, oh, I know everything. I think that's not the case, and that backfires. So it's been definitely a long process of like getting them to know the LPA girl. A typical day is waking up. I make an espresso for my husband. I make one for myself. I run to a workout class. I prep my food for the day. And at that point, we'll kind of like check some emails, and then I either work from home or I work from my office, depending upon what my schedule is. I come in here, we look at the boards, we look at designs, we look at samples that are coming in, what needs to be changed. We have a lot of fittings, or I'm kind of doing, like if I'm working at home, like I'll have the boys come over so we can like really focus on something. The office can be really distracting. And then I always have dinner with my husband and my mom. The favorite part of my job is seeing girls in the clothes, or like getting I get so many DMs from girls being like, sorry, I've had a couple drinks, but I just feel like you're one of my best friends, and like I'm wearing an LPA dress, and I had the best date tonight, or I went to a wedding and I felt so pretty. That's like priceless. Could die tomorrow with just hearing those kinds of things. There was a time a few years ago when I was designing clothes because I thought it was what people wanted, and not because I wanted to wear it. It was like 2 seasons of these clothes that kept coming, where I just felt like I was getting pulled in a million directions. Like wholesale was telling me something, and the buyers for the online were telling me something, and then like I felt something, and so it was like ended up being like 2 seasons worth of clothes where I was just like, I don't know what the fuck this is, or like who is wearing that, or if I'm wearing it, and I didn't like any of it, and I felt so lost and like soulless for a while. Super soulless, and then bounced back. Now I love everything. Success is a weird word, and I think lately I feel really good about it because I'm in a place where I don't use other shit that I used to define it for me. Like I used to think like, oh, if this person wears this, or oh, if I'm getting these collaborations, or oh, if it's like, I like now can look at what I'm doing and I'm like, that's great, and that's all meant to be, all feels really good and natural, rather than trying to like fight to be something that I'm not, or getting like insecure about seeing other people do shit that I'm not. I feel really good now, and that makes me feel really successful. Thank you for watching OUAI's YouTube channel. If you want to keep up with me, I'm at Pia Baroncini at LPA, and Pia's Pod launches every week for the next like 10 weeks.